Do you think a far lefty can win a national election in this day and age? A presidential election. Do you think that
A
could
far
happen?
left, you mean like AOC?
Yes. I'm just whether it's what you said about Newsom, whether it's an AOC. I mean, do you think somebody like that can win a general election for the presidency of the United States in this day and age? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. To me, the Democratic Party is a ghost brand. You know what a ghost brand is? It's like Sears or,
Okay.
you know, General Electric. You know, it's still a company, Abercrombie and Fitch, but they've really fallen on hard times.
Yeah.
But they've been around for a long time. So there is value in, it's an asset, right? Because there are still people who know of the company, and if you could have somebody take it over, who's not sentimental about that company and, you know, relaunch it, rebrand it. But it would have to be somebody who is unapologetic about calling them out. People have lost faith in the Democratic.
So let's just rip the band-aid off right away. Can a far-left candidate, someone like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, actually win a national presidential election in America right now? Honestly, no. Even Bill Maher, who's known for taking shots at both sides, doesn't believe it. And here's the thing, this isn't just about one candidate. It's about the entire Democratic Party. Maher called it a ghost brand. And that's not just a harsh insult, it's the perfect description. Think of old companies like Sears, Abercrombie, or General Electric. They still technically exist, but the magic and relevance are long gone. People recognize the name, but nobody's rushing to the store. That's exactly what the Democratic Party feels like right now. Maher's point was crystal clear. People have lost faith in the Democrats for real reasons. They're not inspiring anyone, they're not reaching beyond their bubble, and they're basically running on fumes, hoping the brand name alone will keep them alive. But here's the twist: if someone came in, rebranded the whole thing, cut ties with the fake nostalgia, and actually spoke to Americans without the usual arrogance, that person could change the game. But let's be real, that's not happening anytime soon. Because right now, Democrats are stuck in what Maher calls the bubble. You know the bubble, it's Hollywood, late-night TV, and MSNBC panels where everyone nods along, congratulating each other for repeating the same tired talking points.
I got to get to my next guest. Oh, he's an actor, a comedian, a producer, a writer, and host of the hit HBO political talk show, Real Time with Bill Maher. The one and only Bill Maher is with me right now. What's going on, Big Time? How are you, sir? How's everything?
I'm not an actor.
Well,
Don't ever call me an actor.
I apologize.
I'm the
I
opposite
apologize.
of an actor, like you.
There we go.
Actors are avoiding the truth and playing parts. We're real and telling what's real.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Take Jimmy Kimmel, for example. Maher didn't hold back when Stephen A. Smith brought him up. Kimmel mocked MAGA, twisted the story his way, and Maher flat out said he's wrong. Why? Because Kimmel, like so many in the liberal elite, is trapped inside that same echo chamber. They arrogantly dismiss half the country as if it doesn't exist, and that's exactly why those late-night shows are tanking. Nobody wants to watch a show where 95% of the guests repeat the same political talking points. Where's the unpredictability? Where's the real debate?
Insulted MAGA. That's different. And he didn't lie. He said what he thought was true, which I disagreed with. I mean, I gave my spiel about it on the show last week, and you know, it was basically saying something very different than what Jimmy said. I don't think he got it right. I think he's, quite frankly, in his liberal bubble, which is why, let's be real, those shows are struggling, is because they, I think, arrogantly dismiss half the country. They don't speak to them, let alone for them.
And this is where Maher stands out. You might not agree with him, but at least he's not afraid to call out his own side. He'll criticize conservatives, sure, but he'll also take aim at the left's hypocrisy. That's why people either love him or can't stand him. Now here's where things get serious. Maher brings up political violence and makes a point that hits hard. It doesn't matter what someone says, how offensive it is, or how much you disagree, you don't shoot people, period. No excuses, no yeah, but no exceptions. That's one of those rare moments when Maher drops the jokes and gets real. And honestly, he's right. America can't survive if political violence becomes normal. Debate, argue, yell, that's fine. But picking up a gun? That's crossing a line this country can't afford to erase.
All over the map politically, they just want you to hurt like I do. And that's where that was. Jimmy had a different take. He's allowed to have a different take. He's allowed to be wrong. Some of this stuff gets put out there and then it becomes like the narrative. He lied. He didn't lie. His take was just wrong in my view. And he didn't insult the person that they were worried about getting insulted. And on that score, yes, I mean, I've been always clear about what I think about it. There's no quarter for people who forgive any kind of political violence. Once you start with, yeah, but what he said was terrible. I don't care. Irrelevant if you think whatever you think of it. We don't shoot each other in the...
Now let's talk about Trump. When Stephen A. asked Maher about Trump's reaction to Kimmel's controversy, Maher wasn't surprised at all. He said Trump goes 100 miles an hour in that direction every single time. But here's the twist: Maher made a point most people wouldn't expect. He said Trump isn't an actor. Unlike politicians who play parts, fake smiles, and hide what they really think, Trump is raw. What you see is what you get. And that authenticity is exactly why his supporters stick with him no matter what. They know he's not pretending. He might say wild, outrageous things, but at least he's real.
How did you feel about Trump's reaction to Jimmy Kimmel being pulled off the air? And his reaction, I mean, when Charlie Kirk got assassinated, the first words that came out of Trump's mouth is that it was the left. And obviously, when Jimmy Kimmel said what he said, Trump wanted him pulled off the air, even though it was the FCC chairman that really went about the business of making threats along those lines. What were your thoughts about all of that?
Unsurprised. I mean, come on, Donald Trump's been on the stage a long time. You always know he's going to go 100 miles an hour in that direction. He is an actor who commits to the part. Man, does he talk about...
Compare that to politicians on the left who are always trying to craft the perfect image, never stop pandering, and polish every word until it sounds fake. Trump might be unpredictable, but at least he believes what he's saying, and that kind of honesty is powerful in politics. But here's the irony: the left is now screaming about free speech. Remember when they were the ones demanding censorship? When they pushed social media to hide stories they didn't like? When they were canceling comedians, journalists, and even regular people for saying something problematic? Those days weren't that long ago. But now that they're not in control of the narrative, suddenly they've rediscovered their love for free speech. Funny how that works. Maher calls them out for it and doesn't let them pretend to be champions of the First Amendment just because it's convenient now. And honestly, that's the exact kind of hypocrisy people are sick of.
Ask you this: when you look at Trump and some of the things that he says, what are you more concerned about in this day and age, Bill? Is it how the right feeds off of what he says, or is it how the left reacts to what he says? What has you more concerned at this particular moment in time as we just purview the landscape, look at our country and the state of affairs that's going on around here?
Well, I love it that you always, like what you were just saying before I came on about free speech, and you said, well, let's be honest, the left sort of courted this a little bit because they weren't exactly champions of free speech. So you always have to look at that. I mean, I know that the woke people don't.
Now let's circle back to the Democrats. Maher says they're a ghost brand, and he's right. The party looks alive on the outside, but inside it's hollow and lifeless. There's no clear leader, no inspiring message, and no policies that truly stand out, just tired slogans and the same recycled talking points.
The Democratic Party is a ghost brand. You know what a ghost brand is? It's like Sears or, General Electric. It's still a company, Abercrombie and Fitch, but they've really fallen on hard times.
Yeah.
But they've been around for a long time. So there is value in, it's an asset. Right? Because there are still people who know of the company, and if you could have somebody take it over who's not sentimental about that company and relaunch it, rebrand it, but it would have to be somebody who is unapologetic about calling them out. People have lost faith in the Democratic Party for very good.
And what about their so-called stars? Take AOC, for example. Sure, she dominates social media and is a favorite among Gen Z. But let's be honest, popularity on TikTok doesn't win national elections. Loud voices don't equal electability. To win, you have to connect with middle America, with everyday people, and the far left just doesn't do that. Maher admits it may be if 80% of Gen Z suddenly voted, a far left candidate like AOC could have a shot. But is that realistic? Not even close. It's not a smart bet, and it's not a winning strategy. And here's where Maher gets brutally honest again. If Democrats want to win, they need to separate themselves from the fringe. Clinging to AOC-style politics might energize activists, but it alienates most voters. Politics isn't about purity tests. It's about coalitions. It's about building bridges, not echo chambers. And right now, the Democrats are doing the exact opposite. Let's be real, if they don't change course, they're walking straight toward extinction.
A far lefty can win a national election in this day and age? A presidential election. Do you think that
A
could
far
happen?
left, you mean like AOC?
Yes. I'm just whether it's what you said about Newsom, whether it's an AOC. I mean, do you think somebody like that can win a general election for the presidency of the United States in this day and age? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I mean, that's, anything is possible, and possibly it would excite a certain group of people who have not voted. What if 80% of Gen Z voted? Could then a Mondami-like candidate win? I guess so, but I'm not expecting that to happen, and I don't think it's the smart bet.
Now Maher does show his bias. At one point he admits he likes Gavin Newsom and even says he'd love to see him run for president. But even then, he has to admit that Newsom's record in California is baggage. Homelessness, high taxes, businesses leaving the state. It's hard to run for president when your state looks like a warning sign. And if Maher himself can't fully buy into Newsom as the savior of the Democratic Party, why should the rest of America?
Also have faith in California Governor Gavin Newsom, did you not?
I'd love him as a candidate, yes. I mean, you're right. He's not exactly what I'm describing now.
Right.
I think he'd be a great candidate. He has shown in recent months the ability also to move to the center. He would have to do it a lot more. But as a candidate, he looks great. Great speaker, very forceful, can be mean, which is really important, and he can do it. He also has the backing, or certainly should, of where the energy is in the Democratic Party, the far left, because he's been out front on a lot of very liberal issues, which I think is great. Gay marriage here in California and stuff like that, pollution, all sorts of stuff that we believe in. But he does have a long trail to lose the baggage of governor of the most liberal state in the country. I tell him face to face, I've said it on the show, he went too far left for me often.
So here's where we land. Bill Maher just delivered a brutal wake-up call to the Democrats. They're stuck in their bubble, losing relevance, and weighed down by far-left theatrics that don't win elections. And unless they snap out of it, reconnect with everyday Americans, and start focusing on winning instead of whining, they're done, finished, extinct. So what do you think? Can the Democrats save themselves? Or is Maher right that they've become a ghost brand on the road to irrelevance? And here's the bigger question: could someone like AOC or any far-left figure actually win the presidency? Or is that just a pipe dream? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if you enjoyed this breakdown, and make sure you're subscribed, because trust me, there's a lot more coming your way.